Hey guys, welcome to Plato Weight Management. If you are new here to our channel, please make sure to subscribe for more exclusive weekly content. And as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Anemia is a prevalent global health concern with an estimated 1 in 4 people worldwide with the condition. Of all types of anemia, one stands well above the others, with approximately 50% of all related cases: iron deficiency anemia. The main topic of this video will be discussing iron deficiency and the potential for reduced weight management outcomes, as current research suggests there could be a link between both. To talk about iron deficiency anemia, we first need to discuss anemia and its effect on red blood cells. We produce three sorts of blood cells, mostly made in bone marrow: platelets that aid in blood clotting, white blood cells that combat infection, and red blood cells that transport oxygen to various bodily regions and return carbon dioxide to be exhaled. Now, anemia is when your body doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells to carry out their function. But more specifically, iron deficiency anemia, which, as suggested by its name, is when anemia is caused due to insufficient iron levels. So how does insufficient iron stores impact the function of red blood cells? Well, red blood cells have hemoglobin, a protein high in iron that makes blood the red colour, and is what allows the transportation of oxygen to be used and carbon dioxide to be eliminated. So when iron levels are reduced, so is the availability of adequate hemoglobin in the red blood cells, meaning poorer transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide as a result. It's notable that reduced iron stores doesn't directly mean iron deficiency anemia. There's actually a 3-stage process in developing the condition. In the first stage, iron stores in the body begin to fall short without impacting the functions of the bodily areas that depend on iron. In the second, the reduction in iron starts affecting the proper operation of parts of the body where iron is required. Then, in the last stage, where iron deficiency anemia occurs, the shortage in iron gets to a place where there can be associated issues with cognition, immunity, physical capacity, body temperature control, and the GI tract. Something important to point out, though, is that it's not only poor iron consumption that can cause a depletion in iron stores, as excessive blood loss, impaired iron absorption, as well as an elevated iron demand by the body are other mechanisms which can bring about iron deficiency. The effect of the condition you're probably most familiar with is fatigue, because oxygen is critical for producing energy. Other signs and symptoms outside of tiredness include shortness of breath, headaches, rapid heart rate, dizziness, weakness, and a reduction in body temperature. Unfortunately, the thing about the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency, though, is that they often only appear when iron deficiency develops to iron deficiency anemia. As a result, you could have low iron levels while having no idea, especially early on. So this is why it's a good idea to have this checked out by your doctor. And how frequently should you get evaluated? Well, if you have a history of low iron levels, it's a good idea to at least get a checkup once per year to give you the best chance to detect any deficits early on. A blood test by your doctor is usually the primary way low iron levels or iron deficiency anemia is evaluated. A method you could use to give you an idea of whether you might be running low in it would be to compare your current average dietary iron intake to the recommended amount for your sex and age. The recommended dietary allowance for iron is 8 mg for males aged 19 and over, as well as 18 mg for females between 19 and 50 years of age who aren't pregnant, and 8 mg for females over 50 years old. Still, I would not suggest this method over a medical evaluation to be sure. In addition to blood testing, hemoglobin tests are often used to check for iron deficiency, but usually only evaluate iron deficiency anemia rather than low iron levels in the initial stage. This isn't exactly ideal, though, to get the best idea of your general iron levels, as the faster a deficit is recorded, the faster it could be treated. Besides iron deficiency anemia, there are other less common kinds of anemia, each with its own unique set of causes, which can range from moderate to severe. Furthermore, several groups are more susceptible to iron deficiency than others, such as adults 65 years and older, premenopausal, pregnant or lactating females, as well as people with a low income who are underweight or have vitamin C or iron poor diets. One lesser spoken about population, though, who may be more prone to an iron deficiency are those above a healthy weight classification. For instance, one study incorporating 619 women investigating the prevalence of iron deficiency in relation to weight status found that 23.5% of normal weight women had a deficit. This is in contrast to the obese women in the study, who were found to have almost a twofold increased prevalence of iron deficiency, with 45.6%. Likewise, a study of 772 males reported that iron deficiency was in 13.6% of those with a normal weight, versus 21.7% of those obese. Although these statistics are not truly representative of iron deficiency anemia, of course, as one can have a deficit in iron without having iron deficiency anemia, as noted, they are significant nonetheless, as if insufficient iron levels are not corrected, it can lead to its severest stage. In light of this data, there come several questions. Like, what causes iron to be impeded in those overweight? Could weight loss therefore be beneficial for improving iron levels? And what other ways may be helpful in correcting iron deficiency? Well, let's start with the first question. Although, on a side note, if you are interested in undertaking our evidence-based and results-backed personalized Plato weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Currently, the exact mechanism of why iron levels seem to reduce as body weight goes up is unknown, but it's been suggested that the chronic inflammation that can be brought on by excess body fat stores could be the cause. Remember, fat or adipose tissue is not passive storage, but is actually metabolically active, secreting several cytokines that can bring about inflammation. This is partially why you'll often hear obesity referred to as a state of inflammation. The reason why chronic inflammation is thought to lead to iron deficiency is due to a subsequential release of a peptide hormone, hepcidin, which reduces the ability of the intestines to absorb iron. This means that someone overweight could indeed be intaking an adequate level of iron through their diet, but the mechanism by which iron is taken up to be utilized within the body is being obstructed. But again, this theory hasn't been proven, nor the extent to which iron could be limited as a result determined. Even so, supposing that inflammation was the primary mechanism that reduces iron levels in those overweight, it begs the question whether interventions to help with inflammation may offer a benefit for iron deficiency too. Conversely, you may say, well then, if the accumulation of excess fat tissue worsens iron deficiency, then couldn't fat loss on the flip side improve it? Well, this effect has indeed been proposed by researchers too. For example, a 2016 study investigated the outcome of fat loss after bariatric surgery on inflammation, hepcidin, and iron absorption. What was found was that following 6 months after the procedure, total body fat, interleukin-6, and hepcidin were significantly reduced, whereas the iron uptake improved by as much as a quarter in iron-lacking participants. That said, it's notable that the subjects had to lose an average of 15 kilograms to achieve the iron-derived benefits outlined. As I'm sure you can imagine, it would take standard exercise and diet substantially more time to reach the same levels than seen here from bariatric surgery. In other words, the time taken to reach a benefit for iron deficiency from conventional weight management alone could be prolonged to say the least. As well as this, the feasibility of weight loss to improve iron levels may be hindered marginally as a consequence to the iron deficiency itself. Let me explain. A 2012 study examining the relationship between physical activity, physical performance, and iron status in adult women showed that women with iron deficiency had significantly lower VO2 compared with those with normal iron levels. Further, the study found that those with a shortage in iron spent significantly more time sedentary and less time engaging in light physical activity, which would make sense given the physiological effects of iron deficiency discussed. Taking these two findings of the study into consideration, this could mean that iron deficiency results in less calories burned throughout the day from reduced physical activity. In fact, the same study found that on average, the individuals with a deficit in iron burned almost 100 calories less than those with adequate levels each day. Therefore, this only adds to the time duration that may be required to enhance iron stores from weight loss alone. Conversely, alternative treatment strategies for iron deficiency have actually been shown in another study to cause a weight gain. In it, the study, which incorporated 30 female individuals, showed that oral iron treatment or intravenous followed by oral iron treatment for iron deficiency anemia, increased weight by an average of almost 3 kilograms over the course of 3 months among its participants. Therefore, when it comes to treating iron deficiency, it may be better to focus your efforts on not gaining weight rather than losing it. But again, the jury's out on the matter. Moving forward, let's take a look at another way that people commonly go about treating iron deficiency: iron supplements. Of course, we always recommend first trying to help increase iron levels through diet. The foods most rich in iron include the following: oysters, white beans, dark chocolate, beef liver, lentils, spinach, tofu, kidney beans, sardines, chickpeas, tomatoes, beef, and baked potato. Nevertheless, if you have already tried diet and it seems ineffective or slow, iron supplementation could be the way forward. Be aware though that taking iron supplements when it's not necessary can be harmful. The potential for iron toxicity is something to be cautious of, as it can occur if iron is taken in excess. Iron toxicity can cause adverse gastrointestinal effects like vomiting and diarrhea, as well as more severe consequences like cardiovascular system, nervous system, kidney, or liver toxicity. This is more of a reason to make sure to consult with your doctor when it comes to iron deficiency treatment, in addition to diagnosis. For most, it usually takes around 12 weeks to entirely replenish your iron supply to baseline levels, meaning if you're currently using iron supplements, you should wait at least that amount of time, if not somewhat longer, before having your amount reassessed. Keep in mind though that some people do not react to oral iron supplements at all. In this case, those individuals may require alternative therapy. In sum, no matter your weight status, it's definitely worth getting your iron levels checked if you're experiencing some of the signs and symptoms outlined regularly and/or have a history of iron deficiency, given its vast prevalence. Then again, since the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency do not commonly appear until its later stages, it's even a good idea to get them monitored during a regular checkup without them. Although excess body weight seems to contribute to an iron shortage, weight loss alone may not be enough to correct this. Therefore, we recommend including more of the foods high in iron noted in your diet, along with supplementation if your doctor has given the go-ahead and explained the appropriate dosage and frequency. Regarding iron deficiency anemia specifically, weight gain could arise from its treatment, at least in the short term. As a result, it may be worth undertaking a weight management intervention while receiving treatment to limit this, including both foods rich in iron and foods that don't cause inflammation as alluded to earlier. Have you anything to add regarding iron deficiency or its association with weight? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So that has been our video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.